Well, it comes as a surprise to very few that eventually Elon Musk has come around on who to blame for the absolute destruction of the platform formerly known as Twitter, thanks to his decisions, to blaming the Jews, or in this case, it is a Jewish group known as the Anti-Defamation League. It is a historically Jewish civil rights group. Now, in the interests of full disclosure, I know that if I don't say this, I will get some very nasty emails. My brother used to work for the Anti-Defamation League. He now has not for years, but I will put that up front, and you can be the judge as to whether that is in some way clouding my sense of Elon Musk blaming the ADL for Twitter losing half of its value since he purchased it. So here's what's going on. Elon Musk is now arguing that the Anti-Defamation League has defamed Twitter and Elon Musk as anti-Semitic and is falsely pointing to anti-Semitic content on the platform. This has scared off advertisers, and thus it is the Anti-Defamation League that is now responsible for roughly $20+ billion in value that Twitter has lost. This is really, really wacky stuff. Alex Jones has jumped in on this. Elon Musk is now regularly talking about it, and he says he is now considering suing the Anti-Defamation League for the destruction that they have brought to Twitter. The only problem with this, and I'm still calling it Twitter, it is now called X. The only problem with this is that it is not just the Anti-Defamation League that has found that since Elon Musk took over Twitter and under his stewardship, under his campaign of unbanning and unblocking people, under his campaign of creating the For You feed, which is a sort of algorithmically curated feed, it all has been stuffed with extremism, up to and including endless examples of anti-Semitic content about Jews being the problem and so on and so forth. It is, I will say, almost welcomed on the platform, but certainly allowed. Now, concurrent with this, there are reports that Twitter has suffered a 60% decline in ad revenue. That is what we are seeing both from advertisers saying we've reduced our advertising by a significant portion, or we've ended it altogether. And the position that those on the Elon, I don't want to call it the left or the right, it's sort of a weird area that's been staked out, but those who are on board with what Elon Musk has been saying are arguing that it is through defamation from groups like the ADL that advertisers have been scared or coerced into leaving, and thus somebody's responsible for that decline. Why wouldn't it be the Anti-Defamation League? Now, in talking about all of this, Elon Musk insists that Twitter is not an anti-Semitic platform at all, that they don't welcome anti-Semitic content or whatever the case may be. The problem with that is that they do seem to, and there have been countless examples of this and of the, I hesitate to say platforming, but again, it's the signal boosting and even favored status on the For You feed of a lot of extremist right-wingers that many of whom are anti-Semitic, not all, some have other prejudicial predilections. So a couple different issues here. First and foremost, is it coherent to claim to be all about free speech and then to say the ADL owes us $20 billion because by talking about us, they have cost us 60% of our ad revenue? Well, I'm going to be fair on this. You can be a supporter of free speech, but still say that when there has been defamation, you should be entitled to legal recourse, that defamation by definition is not protected speech. And I would agree with that. The problem is that a valid defense to defamation is showing the truth of what you said. We've looked before, each state has slightly different legal definitions of what defamation is. There's usually a few components. One of the components is, did you say the thing and was it communicated to a third party? Another component is, did it damage the reputation of that individual or organization that you were talking about? And number three, did you do it with, usually it's malice or negligence towards the impact that it would have? A valid defense to a defamation claim for the ADL would simply be to show, here's how much anti-Semitic content was allowed on the platform before Elon Musk took over, and here's how much anti-Semitic content was allowed on the platform after Elon Musk took over. Quite simply, that would be a valid defense to defamation. You can put all the other elements aside and just proving the matter of what you said. This is why so many defamation suits don't go forward. I once sort of told the story of when I want to be careful, I still haven't told the full story. When I was threatened with a defamation suit over some content that I had produced, and I went to more than one lawyer, in fact, and said, tell me about this. What are the risks? And I was told, listen, it is extremely unlikely you will be sued for defamation, because if you were, you would have an opportunity, or your lawyer, your counsel would have an opportunity to do discovery and potentially to take a deposition of that individual claiming you defamed them. Because what you said is almost certainly true, or at minimum plausible and reasonable to believe, it's very unlikely that they are going to sue you, because they don't want to be deposed. They don't want you to do discovery. But you might rack up $100,000 in legal fees before you get to the point at which you could request your legal fees be paid and the defamation case be dismissed. So you probably don't want to take that chance. This is an old story which I've told a number of different times. So it is not likely that such a defamation suit will actually go forward, but they say they are about personal responsibility, but they want to blame someone else. They say they are about free speech, but as soon as your speech is something they don't like, they claim defamation. And of course, it shouldn't come as a shock to any of us that you eventually get to, let's blame the Jews, or at least a Jewish group. The former Twitter is really going down in flames. It's actually shocking. If you had said 2 years ago, how could we destroy half the value of Twitter? It wouldn't be that obvious that you could easily do it. But Elon Musk has figured out a way to do it. If you're like me and you love the nostalgia of enjoying a bowl of cereal sometimes as an adult, check out our sponsor, Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon is the breakfast cereal with the crunchy, sweet goodness you love, but with 0 grams of sugar, more protein, and only 4 to 5 net carbs. So it's perfect if you're doing low carb, if you're doing keto, if you're like me and you just don't want to eat a bunch of sugar. Magic Spoon has delicious flavors to choose from: cocoa, fruity, frosted peanut butter, honey nut, cinnamon roll, birthday cake. My favorite is maple waffle. And right now they have limited edition spring flavors, strawberry milkshake, and peaches and cream. Sometimes you just feel like sitting down with a bowl of cereal. When the mood strikes, go for something with plenty of protein without all the sugar. If you don't love Magic Spoon as much as I do and our team does, Magic Spoon will refund all of your money, no questions asked. Go to magicspoon.com/Pacman, create a custom bundle, use the code Pacman for $5 off. The link is down below.